yesterday's champ, Callan Rydz, and the brilliant young Dutchman Gian van Veen, who we saw in imperious form early today when he whitewashed Damien Mole with an average of in excess of 111. Breathtaking darts from Van Veen. And delighted to say we're joined by Dan Dawson, connoisseur of the PDC Pro Tour, aficionado, if you will. A man who's been touting Van Veen for some time.
Well, I'm very keen on Gian van Veen, if you would allow me to mangle the pronunciation of his name, Rod.
Very good.
But he won't be very keen on the fact that yesterday he played some magnificent darts to put himself in line for a debut at the World Grand Prix. And within about an hour and a half, he was knocked out of those spots by Callan Rydz, who went to take the title, but himself in a provisional spot for a return to the World Grand Prix. It will be the third consecutive year that Rydz has played in that particular tournament. However, he is not assured of his spot there. There is still a lot to be played out, and Van Veen is on the charge. He has been storming up the world rankings and playing some of the best darts out of everybody on the planet over the last 12 months. So this game is significant for the pair of them.
Yes.
83.
Now, in the previous match I mentioned when he beat Mole, Colin Lloyd started by asking if we were putting too much pressure on Van Veen, and then within 3 sentences has suggested he could be a future world champion.
But look, we're in the Josh Rock paradox that we were in last year,
54.
where you can see the lads playing world-class darts game after game after game, week after week after week. And then as soon as you say it, then somebody will jump down your neck saying, don't say it, don't put pressure on the lad. Well, he's doing it himself by playing brilliantly. And that's what happens. If you go and play with the big boys, then expect to be judged by big boy standards.
43.
Certainly Callan Rydz has felt that. Two-time title winner until yesterday, but it was a long old wait to pick up that third title.
Yeah, and Rydz, of course, has mixed it with the big boys on the biggest stages of all. He'll be back for double 16 for a break in the opening stanza. Saw Rydz get to the quarters in the World Match Play and the World Championship, and so he has threatened to win a big one, and he's certainly won that first leg.
Yeah, with a very impressive 13 darter as well for Callan Rydz to break the throw. Now, he has got new darts, a slower style, and he's actually addressing the board in a slightly different way. And I'll be honest, one of my favourite things about... Well, there were a lot of things I liked about watching Callan Rydz. One, he was really good. Two, he was really, really fast. And three, he did this brilliant little twiddle of the darts before he set it in his hand. Now, two of those things have gone away with the new version of Callan Rydz, which I feel is a loss. But it won't matter if he keeps on winning things, because that's the name of the game. Did still really like the twiddly thing he did, though.
81.
And Van Veen, with the spectacles and the slick hair, has that certain professorial look about his arrowsmithery.
135.
Almost studious, but that slightly detracts from his darting skill. I think he's not by no means tedious, is he, in his approach to the game in any manner of means?
Absolutely not. There is... Well, to be fair, he used the word studious. He was until very recently a student. Just finished his...
Yeah, but we've been students. Not much studying goes on in English universities, I can assure you.
I think you're judging other people by your own standards, Mr. Stud.
My apologies.
Here we go, tops left. Of course it's tops left. The pressure piled upon the Riot. Can he produce? Lovely dart. It's out the way of double top. He still moved over. Yeah, really nice from Callan Rydz. Holds it together to take a 2-0 lead.
$100.
Well, on the basis of what we saw in the opening couple of matches, Rydz beating Brown and Van Veen beating Mole, you'd have made Van Veen favourite for this match. But I suppose based on what we've seen
96
over a longer period of time, Rydz would be favourite, wouldn't he?
It's difficult to gauge.
Over a period. couple of years, maybe.
Well, yeah, certainly, you know, 2 years ago, Callan Rydz looked like he had the world at his feet, and Gian van Veen was a name we'd never heard of. But you can only judge Van Veen on what he's done since he's arrived, and what he's done since he's arrived has been astonishing. It's exactly the same reason why Josh Rock was going in as the 5th favourite at the World Championship last year. Rob Cross was going in as joint 4th favourite with Phil Taylor in his debut at the World Championship. Because everything they'd done up until that point was so impressive that you expect it to continue. Now, I think Van Veen may be in a similar position. He may not quite go as quite as heavy favourite as Josh Rock going into the World Championship. There's still time for him to go and win things between now and then and convince people. His numbers are certainly on a par with what Josh Rock has been doing since he arrived. In fact, they're right next to each other in the averages list in these Players' Championship events. 88. Rydz having a serious word with himself at the back of the booth there. Not sure what he's annoyed about. Won't be annoyed about that. He could go 3-0 up here.
Trying to start a riot, I think. Okay, here he is. He wants double 12. And still, eventually it is 3-0, and Callan Rydz bossing this battle.
Well, started with a 13 darter, followed it with a 14 darter, then a 15 darter. The only consolation for Gian van Veen, who trails 3-0, is that Rydz is getting worse, but maybe he's on the upturn again because he's kicked off 180.
$100.
Winner of this to face either the number 2 seed Damon Heta or Darren Webster, who won the objectively funny matchup between one of the shortest men in darts and one of the tallest men, with Martijn Kleermaker in the opening
60.
round.
96.
You talk about the World Championship, Van Veen has certainty to be in that field, isn't he? Absolute certainty via the Pro Tour Order of Merit.
180.
And so he'll be one of those players that the seeds will be looking not to hear their name paired with.
Well, it'll be in there by virtue, well, in many respects actually, World Youth Championship finalist.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and could be World Youth Champion, just like Josh Rock.
Yeah, not a player you want to see in your segment.
49.
Seed. But I tell you what, Callan Rydz is threatening to make light work of Gian van Veen here.
Game shot.
Another 13 darter. Every leg of this match is being won in 5 visits to the board by Callan Rydz. The average right now is 109.
60.
And Van Veen, very rarely have we seen him this year with that kind of expression on his face, because usually it's him that's terrorising his opponent. And if he's not terrorising, he's usually right in the game. And here, he's little more than a spectator. He's had 2 darts at double in 1 leg, and that's it.
93.
First player through to the 3rd round or board final.
44.
Scott Williams, a man who really did catch the eye all the way through last year as a non-tour card holder, but since getting on the tour, things haven't quite panned out for him.
60.
But he has beaten Steve Beaton to be the first man through to round 3.
Steve is right on that bubble of qualifying for the Grand Prix as well, isn't he? And by virtue of a defeat there, he's going to find himself out of the frame at this moment in time.
Well, in fact, he's just been knocked out of the spots on
100.
countback to Ricardo Pietrezco. So he is still very much in the hunt, but provisionally not in there right now. And if Van Veen can somehow turn this around, that would be another player that Beaton then has to leapfrog to get back in the spots. At the minute, it's not looking like
140.
Game of darting musical chairs, where matches have more far-reaching consequences than just simply advancing in this tournament. Oh yes, double 8, 19.
99.
Well, that was for 5-zip.
I think there was a genuine gasp from Callan Rydz there. He felt that was the game. Can he slide in alongside that? No, he
32.
can't. Not into the double. And Van Veen stares in disbelief at that double 16. 4 darts at double in the match, all of them missed by Van Veen. He might be about to go 5-0 down with 3 breaks a throw.
Double 8 is the target for Callan Rydz, and he makes light work of that. He's making light work of Van Veen. He's 5-0 up. Van Veen, who won 6-0 in his first match against Mole, is now in serious jeopardy of losing his second match 0-6.
100.
The unpredictability of errors of any sport.
Well, what's unpredictable about it? The bloke who won 7 games yesterday is just winning more games. It's entirely predictable.
140.
Right. So as you say, it'll be 9 on the trot, won't
100.
it? And we do see players win back-to-back Pro Tours, but it is rare. I know we saw it last week, but with Gerwin Price, but it is rare, isn't it? If you look back over the history, it does happen.
It was a very exclusive
91.
club that only had about 5 members in for a while.
Yeah.
The likes of Phil Taylor, Robert Thornton, Wes Newton,
180.
Michael Van Gerwen obviously joining that
Merv
club.
do it?
I think, oh, it's a good question. I'm not sure if Merv's done it.
Could be a good question in Pointless, couldn't it? Now, another one there to finish the match in style.
145.
Very nearly wrapping it up with a 170 finish. Will he come back? Yes, he will.
86.
25 to tidy it up. And a very tidy performance. In fact, that's damning it with faint praise. It's been more than tidy. It's been absolutely brilliant from Callan Rydz.
He likes to go the unorthodox 17 double 4.
Game shot and the match.
And nothing unorthodox about the performance as a whole. It was quite superb from Callan Rydz. Yesterday's champ on the march again. It's 9 wins on the spin here at the Metrodome in Barnsley for the Riot. 6-0 over Van Veen, and he marches on into the last 32.